All right. Hello, everyone. And let me continue with this topic. I announced a few days ago, only by now I have time to finish it, or hopefully. But if I suspend it in the middle, I'll try to finish it up later. All right. The subject or title of this one is called Why You Should Strive to Be a Philosopher. Well, why you should strive to be a philosopher. Okay, where should I start? I believe many of you ever heard Aristotle's words, man desires to know. Okay, that sounds familiar, right? But has anyone questioned Aristotle's words? Why does a man need to know things for the purpose of his life? Why? It's not to eat, it's not for sex, it's not for work, it's not for making money, or even not to be useful. Why? You may ask. According to the Chinese saint Confucius, he defines man as, or well, in general for everybody, sex and food and sex, right? 食色性也. That's what the Chinese saint defines man as. All right. But Aristotle says to know is the purpose of life. Why? You may ask. Is that legitimate? You may ask also. Well, here's the thing. To know is for the mind only, right? It's a sort of enjoyment of inner self. It has nothing to do with others. If you go closer to this concept, to know, it's for your thinking, for your brain, right? That sort of thing. And in psychology, I divide the world, the mind into two parts actually. One is consciousness, the other is the thinking or logical part. Uh, the only two parts. So to know is a part of the consciousness. To be aware of something or to know it, it belongs to this part. All right? To be conscious of something, to know how it works or to know what it is or whatever is there. Okay, let me expand this part of Aristotle's meaning. What is to know? Okay, first I'll say to know is not to get involved in a process. Okay, this is the important word. Don't get into a process, but to get to the end of the goal itself. Does that mean anything to you? If you know anything about Immanuel Kant, his idea for the morality is don't use others. Don't think morality as a means, but as an end. It's similar to this one. The end is important. So whatever you do aims at the end or the purpose, not the process. Have you ever heard of this? Well, let me go to another point. Anything, according to instinctology, can be divided. Well, let me rewind this one. Not anything. The world has two parts. One part is involved only with quality. All right? That's called micro world, M-I-C-R-O, micro world. The other part of the world called macro world, M-A-C-R-O, macro world. In the well, let's say because it sounds so similar, I think a lot of Chinese cannot tell the difference. But let's just say this one, the small world or the bigger world. All right, let's say that simply. In the smaller world, you deal with only with quality. There's no quantity involved. Okay? Only quality. But in the bigger world, it has both quality and quantity. So, in the bigger world, the time and space, or Albert Einstein's words, time-space world, they are connected. It's just a property of the matters inherited from the smaller world. You may think this way. Okay? So, we as human, because we live in the space and the time world, we have two dimensions in this world because of the property we have. We exist in this bigger world. We are dealing most of the... Sorry, just stop here. Okay, sorry for the delay, and let's continue with this part. All right, we are in the bigger world. It is quality and quantity involved. If you notice, whatever we touch here, almost anything, if it's action involved, it's a process. In other words, it's quantity related. Have you ever noticed that? You are making money, you work, you do whatever you need to do. According to the Americans, be productive. What is that for? To be productive is to make quantity, quality, not quantity, quality of things. All right? That's called process involved. What I must strive to say is to be a philosopher is to know the end itself, not a process, not involved in a process. But here, you have to know that. As a human, when you grow up, you need food, you need air, you need to exchange things with the outside world. You need to survive, right? So you have to be useful to make a living. How? You have to work. By working, you are involved in a process to make quantity of things. Food, nutrition, milk, whatever. Money. So, basically, half of your life is passed involved in the process, making the quantity. When you have enough, when you have enough sources to survive or resources to survive, you should go to the other half to be a philosopher. That is, to have only the purpose, the end, not involved in the quantity or process anymore. Only concerned with the quality, if you will. That is, from the bigger world, you move to the smaller world to know that is the truth of life to that extent. Do I make myself clear to you? Or we can say anything in either of the two worlds, This is another level, even higher. It's relative. Relative. By that, it means it either has a quality or it has both quality and quantity. So for the one which has only quality, it's a smaller world, micro world. For the one which has both quality and quantity, it's a process that is quantity involved is called a bigger world. When on this level, the final one, to get rid of the relative, that is the definition for both quality and quantity, is called absolute. To, to, to move from the smaller world to the absolute, that means to reach the background. It's like your brain produce the thoughts from thinking about how your brain functions, how to produce thoughts. You are going back to the background, that is the function of your brain. It's like the background of our world, or in physical terms, it's like. Okay, let me finish this part, and it's too many interruptions. But all in all, let me summarize the talk before, previously. So the three parts world, or if you can consider this way, the bigger world, that is the quality and the quantity, the smaller world that has only quality, and the background, which is absolute. Verse is absolute. The two parts of the world are relatives. So eventually you want to reach this part called absolute. That is to be a philosopher. And also from the quality, quantity, the bigger world, get over to the smaller world, relating only the quality. You are become from useful, become useless, right? Useless is a purpose for philosophical life. So if you realize to be useful because you live in the quantity, the world of quantity, you are already going higher, and you are above yourself, above most of the people there, the majority, that is the quantity. Okay? So you want to go over it to the other world, that is the quality. But eventually, as a philosopher, if you move further, you will come to the absolute. That is the background. You know the whole thing. You get rid of the relative. That's even a higher degree of uh, sublation, I'll say, and the higher degree of going up. I think it's probably the end of it, and you cannot go higher than that. You cannot reach any further than that. So, well, try to figure this out and see if it makes any sense to you. And you live only once. You know it only once. So eventually you reach this part. Congratulations. If you don't, keep working. You will, I trust, as long as you know what I mean by that. Okay? Any questions? Put it down. I'll explain to you further. Okay, thank you so much. Sorry for the interruptions. There's too many. Okay, that's it. Thank you.